Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the VoIP Guys. Last time around we took a look at the concept of queues and how to set them up in, the application setup and put it in the dial plan and so on and so on. But we basically just did the bare minimum of what we had to do. And today we're going to take a look at some parameters within the queue application.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
We're looking at the call strategy.
Okay.
I think this is one of the most important and maybe hard to understand parameter.
Yeah.
That means how the calls are distributed. We just had a look at the first easiest, where just we both were called in
the
any
ring all
case.
strategy.
The first default strategy. And we have to have a look at which strategies are also available.
Okay.
And another thing we do is we explain again the difference between the queue timeout, the timeout of the whole queue, and the agent timeout.
Right.
Because maybe this is a little bit confusing.
Okay.
So we have another look to that.
Okay. So let's get on with it.
We go back to our queues conf, and to make it easy, I just copied out the strategy part of the documentation.
Here's something we prepared a little bit earlier.
So that's all about the strategy. As you can see here, the default strategy is just ring all. So as I've shown in the last tutorial, we had just the ring all strategy, and it did what it says, rings all available channels until one answers default.
Okay.
But just try this as long as the agent timeout is, and then go back to the queue and search for a new agent, because that one did not answer. In our case, it was that he again called all agents because of the ring all strategy. Now we have a look to the other strategies. Last recent, I think we should do an example for every strategy.
Yeah.
So if I have the last recent strategy, then let's say we are in the queue.
Yeah.
Then we get the call. It tries to get you. You won't answer the call. I would pick up the call and say hello, blah, 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 hang up. Then I hang up last recent, so you get the next call. Okay,
right, yeah. So because I'm the least recent person called, okay, got it. Yeah.
So that's that strategy. Then the next one is the fewest calls. Fewest calls does mean Asterisk counts how many calls you have taken.
Okay.
So maybe you have taken 10 calls.
Yeah.
And I've just taken 5 calls. Then
you would get the next call.
Correct.
But that could be a bit unfair though.
Yeah.
Because for example, I could take 10 and each one takes a minute.
Yeah.
And you take 5 and each one takes 2 minutes.
That's
You'd still
true.
get it.
That's true, but there is a special situation where this is okay. Let's talk about a call center, a huge call center. There you have an average. You know, every call takes 2 minutes to fill in some data in a contract, or to ask, are you happy with our product? This takes, I don't know. For our support team, it is really unfair because your support case takes 1 hour and mine take 2 minutes because I'm so much better.
I get really complicated problems.
Yeah, you have the complicated problems. So fewest calls, I think, is only valid for some real special scenarios.
Okay.
The next drawback is if a dynamic agent, we didn't talk about that, we will do it in another tutorial, logs out of the queue and logs in again, then he starts with 0 calls.
Yeah.
So that's not fair. So another drawback, so if some team starts to work, then everybody should log in, and then everybody should log out. And then the new team comes and logs in, like in a call center. Maybe this is the case. So it's really for special scenarios. The next one we have to discuss is random.
Okay.
That's the one I like.
That's imagine that actually.
Just pick a random person. This could be very useful because all the other scenarios, maybe someone says, oh, in that scenario, always after my coffee break, I'm the first who gets the calls, blah, blah, blah. And random is just random. Then somebody can say, random always selects me.
That's just tough luck.
Yeah, but random I think is a very useful strategy.
Okay.
Then there is another one which is called RR memory. That's the case you have a round robin combined. So it first takes you, then it takes me, and so on. And then it stores who one was the last, and the last one will not be selected, so you are the next. In any case, if I was the last. That's also possible, RR ordered. You can also have not random, but you have ordered like it is in the configuration file.
So it always start with the same person, but then go round. Yeah, okay.
And then one of the next options is, which is a very simple option, is linear. First you, then me.
Yeah.
But there are also some drawbacks. If you just say linear, then it always starts at your desk. Maybe that is what I want. Talk about the back office.
Yeah.
There is maybe a trainee or something. She should answer the call first. If not, then it goes back to another guy in the back office.
Okay.
Maybe this is what you want to. So linear is maybe what you want. But in many cases and in team situations, in call center situations, it's not very useful.
No.
So I think we are using most time ring all, because I say call all available agents, because if you don't want to take some calls now because you're busy or something, then you just can log out of your queue.
Of course.
Or there is also a mechanism which is called pause the queue membership. You can do it like this, so ring all is okay. And I think one is the random is also okay and fair, but it depends on the situation you get. Then there is a last strategy which is called vrandom. That's complicated. We just skip it for now because you can also work with penalties for each member.
Okay. And we haven't explained them yet.
That's complicated and you have to understand it. So for now, just you have to understand there are some different strategies.
Right.
I think we talked about the pros and cons of each strategy, and that's okay. So now we go back to the console.
Okay.
We choose just one of them. We choose random. And now here is the next option. This is the timeout option. This means how long does he try? First he makes the strategy to find a suitable agent. If it's ring all, he just takes all available agents. In random he just picks out one agent and then he tries to call him for 15 seconds.
Okay.
Maybe this is too long. Maybe we say if he's not on the desk, he recognizes that after 5 seconds. I don't know. 3 seconds is, I think, 1 time ringing. So 6 seconds is 2 time ringing.
Okay.
You have to try it. And that's the agent timeout. That's our configuration for now. Then we go to the extensions conf. And there we go to our queue. And just to explain it again, here you have also a timeout. It's also called timeout, but this is the application timeout for the whole application. How long do I try to reach a member?
So basically the difference is that this is the application timeout and this is how long it keeps the caller in the queue.
Correct.
And the other one is how long it tries to reach the agent. Okay.
And maybe it is confusing because both is just called the timeout. And you could expect that if you provide the timeout here, because it's also called timeout, that it just overrides the timeout out of the configuration. But that's not the case. Two different timeouts. It took long until I understood it, I think. Few months. That's important for you. And we just make it a little bit shorter. 60 seconds. Then we do a dial plan reload. We do also, it was not verbose enough, dial plan reload. And we do a queue reload. And then we have a look at our queue first. No, not zip. Queue. Show our support queue. Now we have changed the strategy to random. That's all for now. And we've set other timeouts. We've shorter timeout in the agent timeout is shorter, and the application timeout is shorter. Now we will see what happens. Randomly it took me. Nobody picked up for
it's choosing you again.
The timeout, and it's choosing me again. And here you can also see the difference between the R random with the round robin, which knows which was the last one. So you can see randomly it chooses always me. Okay. But that's the concept, and that's how it works.
Okay. I think we've explained that pretty well, haven't we?
Okay. Hopefully.
Cool, good. So, well, that's it for today. If you've got any topics you'd like us to cover or anything like that, just let us know by leaving a comment in the blog or on the channel, and we'll get around to covering it. Thanks very much for watching.
Thank you.
Cheers.